Imagine waking up each day with a mind forged in unshakable resilience, a mind that doesn't crumble under fear, doubt, or the chaos of modern life, but stands firm, calm, and clear. This isn't some lofty ideal. It's a journey you can start right now, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. True freedom isn't about escaping hardship or silencing the storm inside us, but about becoming the master of those storms, taming impulses, fears, and insecurities that whisper lies in moments of weakness. This video will take you deep into the transformative power of daily Stoic meditations, revealing how suffering is not your enemy, but the forge that shapes courage, character, and strength. It's okay to struggle, because every hardship is a stepping stone, temporary, painful, but essential. You'll learn how to watch your thoughts without being swept away, to respond with reason instead of reacting on impulse. Courage here is a mental exercise, choosing to be proactive in your mind rather than a prisoner of reaction. We'll confront the modern illusions of urgency and external pressure, those relentless demands that pull you away from your true self, and the calm discipline that builds lasting strength. You'll see why patience, consistency, and self-discipline are not burdens, but pathways to authentic power, far beyond chasing validation from the world. In these moments of solitude, often seen as loneliness, there lies a powerful chance to discover your innermost self, to recalibrate, to grow, not despite the silence, but because of it. Remember, this growth is not an instant miracle, but a slow, steady unfolding, a commitment made one day at a time. So if you're ready to stop reacting and start mastering your mind, this journey will equip you with 12 powerful Stoic meditations designed to strengthen your mental fortress, one deliberate step after another. Stay with me until the end. Your resilient mind is waiting to be forged. 12 Daily Stoic Meditations for a Resilient Mind. 1. Master your impulses, becoming the commander of your reactions. 2. Embrace the forge, seeing suffering as growth, not defeat. 3. The power of observation. Watch before you react. 4. Courage is mental discipline, choosing proactivity over impulse. 5. Beyond urgency, breaking free from the illusion of pressure. 6. Patience in practice, building strength with consistency. 7. Turning solitude into strength, the gift of self-discovery. 8. Reject external validation, find power within. 9. The slow path to growth, small steps, big change. 10. Owning your mind, true freedom through self-mastery. 11. Preparing for what's next, embrace continuous learning. 12. The daily commitment, forge your resilient mind one day at a time. If this is making sense to you so far, if you're finding clarity in these thoughts, please take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who might truly need to hear this message. Your engagement helps this wisdom reach more people navigating the chaos of the modern world. We've already explored the foundations of a resilient mind, mastering impulses, embracing suffering as a forge, observing before reacting, and understanding courage as a mental discipline. Now, let's continue our journey, peeling back more layers of Stoic wisdom to arm you against the unique pressures of our time. Beyond urgency, breaking free from the illusion of pressure. Modern life, with its constant pings, notifications, and urgent demands, creates a pervasive illusion. The belief that we must always be busy, always responding, always striving to keep up. We've been conditioned to mistake frenetic activity for productivity and constant accessibility for effectiveness. But this relentless pursuit of urgency is a thief of our peace, a shadow that obscures our true priorities, and a drain on our mental fortitude. The Stoics understood this long before smartphones and instant messages. They taught us to discern what is truly important from what merely seems urgent. Seneca, for instance, often spoke about the careful management of time, not as a commodity to be hoarded, but as the very stuff of life itself, too precious to squander on trivialities or external demands that don't align with our values. He would likely look at our current society, with its addiction to being on 24/7, and lament the lost moments of deep reflection, of purposeful work, of genuine human connection that are sacrificed at the altar of perceived urgency. Think for a moment about your typical day. How many times do you react to an email, a text, or a trending news story simply because it appeared in front of you, demanding attention? How often do you feel a vague sense of guilt if you're not constantly moving, constantly checking off tasks, or responding immediately? This feeling, this internal pressure, is often not self-generated, but rather an echo of external expectations. An illusion carefully crafted by a culture that equates busyness with worth. To break free from this illusion, we must cultivate a deep internal filter. Before reacting to every perceived emergency, every must-do now, ask yourself, is this truly within my sphere of control? Does this align with my core values and long-term goals? Or is this merely an external noise attempting to pull me away from what truly matters? Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to focus only on what is essential, to prune away the superfluous. He understood that our attention is a finite resource, and where we direct it determines the quality of our inner life. In a world saturated with information and demands, the ability to say no to others, but more importantly, to the internal pressure to constantly engage, becomes a superpower. This isn't about becoming unresponsive or irresponsible. It's about intentionality. It's about responding with reason rather than reacting with impulse. It's about scheduling your focus, not letting your focus be dictated by the latest notification. When you learn to differentiate between what demands your immediate attention and what demands your considered attention, you begin to reclaim your time, your energy, and ultimately, your peace of mind. You shift from being a reactive pawn in a game of external pressures to an intentional player, choosing your moves wisely. This is the first step towards true mental resilience against the incessant demands of the outside world. Patience in practice, building strength with consistency. In an age of instant gratification, where everything from information to entertainment is available at our fingertips, patience has become a rare and undervalued virtue. We expect immediate results, rapid progress, and quick fixes for complex problems. But the Stoics knew that true strength, lasting change, and profound wisdom are never instant miracles. They are the cumulative result of consistent, patient effort. Think about a mighty oak tree. It doesn't burst forth overnight as a towering giant. It begins as a tiny acorn, slowly sending roots deep into the earth, patiently pushing a fragile sprout towards the sun. Each day it endures the elements, drawing nourishment, growing imperceptibly until, over decades, it becomes a symbol of unwavering strength. Your resilient mind is no different. It is not built in a single moment of epiphany, but through a multitude of small, consistent acts of self-discipline and reflection. Epictetus, a former slave who rose to become one of the most influential Stoic teachers, emphasized the importance of persistent practice. He didn't preach a philosophy of grand gestures, but of daily, deliberate application. He understood that we are creatures of habit, and to change our character, to forge a stronger mind, we must meticulously build new habits, one repetition at a time. It's like training for a marathon. You don't run the full distance on day one. You start with short jogs, gradually increasing the distance, building stamina and endurance with each consistent run. There will be days of discomfort, days when you feel like giving up, but it's the consistent showing up, the patient persistence that ultimately leads to your goal. In modern life, we often fall into the trap of all or nothing thinking. We declare grand resolutions. I'm going to meditate for an hour every day. I'm going to write a book in a month. And when we inevitably fall short, we abandon the effort entirely, feeling like a failure. Stoicism offers a gentler, yet far more powerful approach. Embrace the small, consistent step. 5 minutes of mindful breathing each morning, even if imperfect. A single page written, even if uninspired. A moment of reflection before reacting to a frustrating email, even if the anger still simmers. These small, consistent actions, when practiced with patience, accumulate into significant change. Each tiny victory reinforces the new habit, building neural pathways that favor reason over impulse, calm over chaos. It's not about achieving perfection, but about demonstrating commitment. It's about showing up for yourself, day after day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of the immediate outcome. Patience is not passive waiting. It is active endurance. It is the understanding that some things take time, and that the most valuable transformations are often the slowest. It is the internal conviction that your efforts, however small, are not in vain, but are vital threads in the tapestry of your character. By cultivating patience, you stop fighting against the natural rhythm of growth and begin to work with it, allowing your resilient mind to unfold at its own powerful, unstoppable pace. This consistency, this patient resolve, is the bedrock upon which genuine mental strength is built. 7. Turning solitude into strength, the gift of self-discovery. In our hyper-connected world, solitude is often equated with loneliness, a state to be avoided at all costs. The pervasive fear of missing out, or FOMO, drives us to constantly seek external stimulation, social interaction, and validation through digital feeds. We are encouraged to be always on, always connected, always perform. Yet, amidst this cacophony, we often lose touch with the most important connection of all, the one with ourselves. The Stoics, however, viewed solitude not as an absence, but as a presence, a profound opportunity for self-discovery and the cultivation of inner strength. They understood that true wisdom often blossoms in the quiet chambers of the mind, away from the distractions and demands of the external world. Seneca, a master of self-reflection, often retreated to his study, not to escape the world, but to better understand it and himself. He saw these moments of quiet as essential for sharpening the mind, examining one's values, and preparing for the inevitable challenges of life. Consider the modern experience. How often do you find yourself truly alone with your thoughts, without the immediate urge to pick up your phone, turn on the TV, or seek out company? For many, the idea of extended periods of quiet reflection can feel unsettling, even frightening. The silence can be deafening, allowing anxieties, doubts, and unresolved issues to surface. But it is precisely in this discomfort that growth lies. Solitude, when embraced intentionally, is a powerful forge for the mind. It is a space where you can shed the masks you wear for the world, listen to the authentic voice within, and confront your true nature without judgment. It's where you can recalibrate your moral compass, reflect on your actions, and align your inner world with your chosen principles. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, essentially recorded his private moments of solitude, his internal dialogues, his struggles, and his insights. These weren't meant for public consumption, but were his way of practicing self-governance, of strengthening his inner citadel. To turn solitude into strength, begin by creating intentional pockets of quiet in your day. This doesn't necessarily mean isolating yourself for days on end. It could be as simple as a morning walk without headphones, allowing your mind to wander, to observe, to process. 5 minutes of silent contemplation. Before your day begins or after it ends, simply sitting and observing your thoughts without judgment. Journaling, pouring your thoughts onto paper, giving them form and clarity, away from external influences. Mindful breaks. Instead of reaching for your phone during a lull, simply sitting, breathing, and noticing your surroundings. In these moments, you begin to distinguish between your true self and the myriad external influences that try to define you. You learn to listen to your inner wisdom, to confront your fears and insecurities, not with avoidance, but with gentle inquiry. You discover that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means being present with the most important person in your life, yourself. This practice of intentional solitude strengthens your self-reliance, clarifies your purpose, and deepens your understanding of what truly matters. It equips you with an internal anchor, a steady calm that you can carry back into the chaos of the world. It is a gift of self-discovery, allowing you to not just survive the world, but to truly thrive within it, guided by your own inner light. Reject external validation, find power within. One of the most insidious traps of modern society is the relentless pursuit of external validation. From social media metrics to professional accolades, from the approval of peers to the admiration of strangers, we are constantly bombarded with messages that suggest our worth is tied to how others perceive us. This pursuit is a never-ending treadmill, a source of constant anxiety, and a fundamental barrier to true mental resilience. When your sense of self-worth is derived from external sources, you are, by definition, handing over control of your inner peace to factors entirely outside of your command. The Stoics offered a radical counter-narrative. True power and worth reside entirely within. They taught that genuine esteem comes from living virtuously, aligning your actions with reason, and fulfilling your duties, regardless of whether these efforts are recognized or applauded by others. Your character, your intentions, and your efforts are the only things you truly control, and therefore, they are the only legitimate sources of self-worth. Epictetus, with his characteristic bluntness, warned against placing our happiness in the hands of others. He argued that if you derive your sense of self from the opinions of the crowd, you become their slave. Their praise can inflate your ego, making you dependent, while their criticism can shatter your confidence, leaving you adrift. Neither state offers true freedom or stability. Consider the modern dilemma. We meticulously craft online personas, curate our experiences, and present an edited version of our lives, all in hopes of garnering likes, comments, and shares. Each notification can feel like a shot of dopamine, a momentary affirmation that we are seen, we are valued. But this fleeting high is inevitably followed by a crash, a craving for more, and the gnawing anxiety that we might not be enough. What happens when the likes stop? when the promotion doesn't materialize, when a peer expresses disapproval. If your self-worth is built on such shifting sands, your mental fortress will always be vulnerable. To reject external validation is not to become arrogant or indifferent to others. It is to cultivate an inner compass that guides your actions based on your own reasoned principles, rather than the fickle winds of public opinion. It means doing what is right because it is right, not because it will earn you praise. It means pursuing excellence for the sake of mastery, not for the sake of recognition. This shift requires a conscious effort to detach your sense of self from outcomes and external judgments. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely believe it is good, productive, or virtuous? Or am I doing it because I hope it will impress someone, gain me approval, or avoid criticism? Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that the opinions of others had no power over his inner state, nor could they truly affect his character. He understood that while external circumstances might touch his body or reputation, they could not penetrate his ruling faculty, his inner citadel, where true power resides. By internalizing your locus of control, by grounding your worth in your own integrity and effort, you build an unshakable foundation for your mental resilience. You become immune to the highs and lows of external approval. You find a quiet, unwavering confidence that comes from knowing you are acting in accordance with your best self, regardless of the world's applause or condemnation. This is the authentic power, the true freedom that liberates you from the endless pursuit of validation and allows you to stand firm, anchored in your own inherent worth. Slow path to growth, small steps, big change. We live in a culture obsessed with accelerated timelines and overnight success stories. We want to lose weight in a week, learn a new skill in a month, and achieve our dreams by tomorrow. This expectation of rapid transformation often leads to frustration, burnout, and ultimately, abandonment of our goals. We set unrealistic targets, stumble, and then conclude that the goal itself is impossible or that we lack the inherent ability. The Stoics, however, understood the profound power of incremental progress, the wisdom in embracing the slow, steady path. They recognize that significant, sustainable change is not a sudden leap, but a series of deliberate, small steps, consistently taken over time. This approach isn't about grand, heroic gestures. It's about the relentless accumulation of tiny improvements, the compound interest of daily effort. Think about a sculptor working on a block of marble. They don't strike the stone once and expect a masterpiece. Instead, they chip away, patiently and precisely, day after day, week after week. Each strike, each minute adjustment, seems insignificant on its own, but cumulatively, they transform a rough block into a magnificent work of art. Your mental resilience, your inner character, is similarly sculpted, not by one monumental decision, but by countless small, consistent choices. This principle is embodied in the Stoic practice of prokope, progress or improvement. The Stoics didn't expect instant enlightenment. They acknowledged that the journey towards wisdom and virtue was a lifelong endeavor, marked by continuous, often imperceptible, progress. They encouraged self-awareness, honest self-assessment, and the commitment to always strive for better, even if that better was just a fraction of a percent more virtuous than the day before. In our modern context, applying the slow path means breaking down overwhelming goals into manageable, bite-sized actions. If your goal is to cultivate a more resilient mind, don't aim for perfect emotional control tomorrow. Instead, focus on one small practice today. Perhaps it's taking one deep breath before responding to a stressful email. Maybe it's acknowledging a negative thought without dwelling on it. It could be spending just 5 minutes reflecting on your actions at the end of the day. Each of these seemingly small actions, when repeated consistently, builds momentum. They reinforce new neural pathways, gradually shifting your default reactions from impulsive to reasoned. They create a virtuous cycle where each small success encourages further effort, making the next step a little easier, a little more natural. The beauty of the slow path is that it is sustainable. It doesn't demand heroic willpower every single day. It recognizes that some days will be harder than others, and that imperfection is part of the human condition. It liberates you from the tyranny of immediate results and allows you to find satisfaction in the process itself, in the consistent effort of showing up for your own growth. Seneca advised us to not be anxious about the future, for if you have to, you will meet it with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. This isn't just about facing the future. It's about preparing for it, brick by small brick. Each decision to choose reason over impulse, each moment of mindful observation, each patient embrace of difficulty is another brick laid in the foundation of your resilient mind. Trust the process. Trust the power of consistent, small actions. The profound change you seek is not a destination you leap to, but a landscape you cultivate, one step at a time. 10. Owning your mind. True freedom through self-mastery. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies a revolutionary idea. The ultimate freedom is not found in controlling external circumstances, but in mastering your own mind. We often chase freedom in superficial ways: freedom from work, freedom from responsibility, freedom to do whatever we please. But as many have found, even when these external freedoms are attained, a restless, anxious, or undisciplined mind can still hold us captive. True freedom, the Stoics argued, is an internal state, a sovereignty over your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Epictetus famously declared, "Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems." He taught that what disturbs us is not external events themselves, but our judgments and opinions about those events. This distinction is crucial. If you can master your judgments, if you can own your mind, you unlock a profound and unshakable freedom that no external force can take away. Consider the modern individual, constantly bombarded by information, opinions, and narratives designed to provoke strong emotional responses. Fear, anger, envy, and anxiety are often amplified by social media algorithms and 24-hour news cycles. We feel compelled to react, to take sides, to express outrage, to constantly worry about things far beyond our control. In these moments, we are not free. We are prisoners of our own reactivity, slaves to the external stimuli that hijack our inner peace. Owning your mind means developing a highly sophisticated internal filter and a robust command center for your thoughts. It means consciously choosing how you interpret events, rather than letting knee-jerk emotions or societal pressures dictate your perspective. It means recognizing that while you cannot control the weather, you can control how you choose to prepare for it, how you react to its changes, and what meaning you assign to it. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man in the world, often reminded himself that his power truly lay in his inner world. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't just a philosophical platitude. It's a practical guide for daily living. When faced with a challenging conversation at work, an unexpected bill, or a frustrating delay, the unmastered mind reacts with anger, worry, or despair. The self-mastered mind pauses, observes, considers, and then chooses a response rooted in reason, not raw emotion. The path to owning your mind involves several key practices. Mindful awareness, constantly observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, recognizing them as transient phenomena, not as absolute truths. Cognitive reframing, consciously challenging negative or unhelpful interpretations of events and seeking alternative, more rational perspectives. Premeditation of evils, premeditatio malorum, mentally preparing for potential difficulties, not to dwell on negativity, but to reduce their shock value and plan rational responses. The dichotomy of control, relentlessly focusing your energy only on what is truly within your control, your thoughts, actions, judgments, and disengaging from what is not, other people's opinions, external events, the past or future. When you truly own your mind, you become the architect of your inner experience. You are no longer tossed about by the whims of fate or the opinions of others. You cultivate a stable inner citadel, a sanctuary of calm and reason that remains unbreached even amidst the most tumultuous external storms. This is the ultimate freedom, the unshakable strength that comes from recognizing and exercising your sovereign power over your own thoughts and reactions. It is the core of a resilient mind, allowing you to navigate life with unwavering purpose and tranquility. Preparing for what's next. Embrace continuous learning. Life is an unending series of changes, challenges, and opportunities for growth. To remain resilient, to not be caught off guard or overwhelmed, requires an embrace of continuous learning and an active preparation for the uncertainties of the future. The Stoics were not passive observers. They were proactive practitioners, constantly honing their mental tools and preparing for what lay ahead. This isn't about fortune-telling or anxious anticipation. It's about cultivating a mindset of adaptability and preparedness. One of the most powerful Stoic practices for this is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This might sound pessimistic, but it is, in fact, an intensely practical and empowering exercise. It involves spending time reflecting on potential difficulties. What if I lose my job? What if a relationship ends? What if I face a significant illness? The purpose is not to wallow in negativity, but to mentally rehearse these scenarios, to strip them of their shock value, and to consider how you would respond with reason and virtue. In our modern world, we often avoid thinking about potential setbacks. We prefer to stay in a state of optimistic denial, believing that positive thinking alone will ward off misfortune. But when adversity inevitably strikes, as it always does, for that is the nature of life, we are often shattered, emotionally unprepared, and unable to respond effectively. The premeditatio malorum acts as a mental fire drill. By mentally experiencing these difficulties, you realize that you possess the inner resources to cope. You reduce fear by familiarizing yourself with potential outcomes and planning your virtuous response. You recognize that while circumstances might change, your capacity for courage, patience, and wisdom remains within your control. Beyond preparing for potential difficulties, embracing continuous learning also means actively seeking wisdom and refining your understanding of the world and yourself. The Stoics believed that philosophy was not just an academic pursuit, but a practical guide for living. They constantly revisited fundamental principles, engaged in self-examination, and sought to learn from their experiences. and the wisdom of others. In today's rapidly evolving world, this continuous learning is more critical than ever. Technology, societal norms, and global challenges are constantly shifting. To be resilient means to be adaptable, to be open to new information, and to be willing to adjust your perspectives and strategies. This isn't about being indecisive. It's about intellectual humility and the recognition that growth is an ongoing process. Ask yourself, what new skill can I acquire? What different perspective can I explore? How can I refine my understanding of Stoic principles in the context of my current challenges? This could involve reading a challenging book or article on a topic outside your comfort zone, engaging in respectful dialogue with someone who holds different views, taking an online course to develop a new capability, critically reviewing your own decisions, and seeking lessons from both successes and failures. By actively engaging in this kind of continuous learning, you not only expand your knowledge base, but also strengthen your mental agility. You become less rigid, more open to change, and better equipped to navigate the complexities of life with calm and competence. This proactive preparation, this commitment to lifelong growth, ensures that your resilient mind is not just strong today, but continually sharpening its edge for whatever tomorrow may bring. It transforms uncertainty from a source of anxiety into an opportunity for continued mastery. 12. The daily commitment. Forge your resilient mind one day at a time. We've journeyed through 12 powerful Stoic meditations, each a vital tool for cultivating a resilient mind. From mastering impulses and embracing suffering, to finding strength in solitude and rejecting external validation, these practices offer a profound blueprint for inner peace and unshakable strength in a chaotic world. But here's the crucial truth. This isn't a one-time workshop or a philosophical concept to merely intellectualize. It is a daily commitment, a continuous act of conscious living, a forge where your resilient mind is shaped and refined, one deliberate day at a time. The Stoic path is not about reaching a mythical state of perfect tranquility and then resting there. It is about the process of striving, the practice of applying wisdom, the discipline of showing up for yourself every single day. Just as an athlete trains daily to maintain physical prowess, a Stoic trains their mind daily to maintain mental fortitude. There will be days when you falter, when old habits resurface, when emotions threaten to overwhelm. These are not failures, but opportunities to re-engage, to learn, and to reaffirm your commitment. Marcus Aurelius, despite his immense responsibilities, found time each day to write in his journal, to reflect on his actions, to remind himself of Stoic principles, and to prepare for the day ahead. His meditations are not polished essays, but the raw, honest record of his daily struggle and commitment to live virtuously. This daily practice wasn't a luxury for him. It was an absolute necessity for governing an empire, and more importantly, for governing himself. In your own life, this daily commitment translates into concrete actions. A morning ritual. Begin your day by setting an intention, reminding yourself of what is within your control, and mentally preparing for potential challenges. A few minutes of quiet reflection, journaling, or reviewing a Stoic principle can set a powerful tone. Mindful moments. Throughout the day, pause to observe your reactions, to challenge unhelpful thoughts, and to choose reason over impulse. This could be as simple as taking a conscious breath before responding to a stressful email, or pausing to appreciate a simple moment. On an evening review, before bed, reflect on your day. Where did you act in accordance with your values? Where did you fall short? What did you learn? This self-assessment, done without harsh judgment, but with honest inquiry, is essential for continuous improvement. Consistent study. Continue to engage with Stoic texts, listen to podcasts, or discuss these ideas. Keep the philosophical principles fresh in your mind and apply them to your current experiences. This daily commitment isn't about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when you make mistakes, even when progress seems slow. Each conscious effort, each deliberate choice to apply a Stoic principle is a hammer blow on the anvil, forging a stronger, more resilient you. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate fear, doubt, or difficulty from your life. That is an impossible and undesirable task. A goal is to become masterful in how you respond to these things. It is to cultivate an inner fortress so robust that no external storm can breach its walls, a mind so clear that no chaos can obscure its vision. This strength, this clarity, this freedom is not granted, it is forged. And the forging happens patiently and persistently, one conscious choice, one mindful moment, one deliberate day at a time. A journey we've outlined is a commitment to a life lived with purpose, resilience, and profound inner peace. It is an invitation to stop merely reacting to the world and instead to become the sculptor of your own character, the master of your own mind. True resilience isn't the absence of struggle, but the unwavering strength to meet every challenge, knowing that within you lies an inexhaustible wellspring of reason and virtue. So, I ask you, will you choose to be tossed about by the whims of fortune and the opinions of others? Or will you embark on the daily commitment to own your mind, to build your inner citadel, and to forge a resilience that stands unshaken in the face of anything life throws your way? The choice, as it always has been, is yours. If this journey resonated with you, if these insights have offered you a new perspective, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel for more guidance on mastering your mind and living a life of purpose. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these daily meditations speaks to you the most? And what is one small step you will commit to taking today? Your continued engagement fuels this shared exploration of ancient wisdom for modern life.